Hi, I'm so glad you can make it. My name is Aronno, and I've been working in ZON100 for the past couple of months to further my project, working with a 360-degree camera and taking 360-degree videos and Matterport shots for Airbnbs and real estate. In the beginning of the semester, my project was nothing. All I had was an idea. I just knew I wanted to do something related to 360-degree cameras. I wanted to get into the VR industry in my future, and I thought 360-degree cameras and videos are a very good bridge. Although they might not be exactly similar, they provide the same immersive feel that VR gives. And what better way to bridge the gap than to use 360-degree technology? That's where I started with the project idea. Fast forward a couple months, right now we're already completed the first portfolio project and we're reaching out to potential customers. I'll have a fast forward a couple months and we've already shot on our first property and completed our first portfolio set. On screen will be a Matterport demo. This showcases the static view of the house and provides a dollhouse of the property we explored. Clicking on each point allows us to view the property in 360 and pan around. I'll be showing that on screen. I also took a shot in 360-degree video with the same property. This showcases my 360-degree video that I'm bringing to the market. It's completely unique and not many people utilize this kind of video technology to give an immersive 360-degree feel. I also couldn't have done it without my peers' support. They've helped me throughout so much of the process, and I'm very thankful to one person in particular, Kareem. At the beginning, he gave me a lot of advice on what to do, and his project is very similar to mine, except he's a little bit ahead. My peers also pointed me towards various resources I could utilize. Renting a 360 camera, which I wanted to do for my first shoot, would have cost me $50-60 for just a couple hours. But I was able to rent a 360-degree camera out for a couple weeks, thanks to my peers guiding me and showing me where to get the equipment. Professor JP also helped me in this regard, and I didn't have to pay a dime. This was actually so helpful because purchasing the domain and some other equipment has already cost me quite a bit. One thing I've learned is to keep yourself in check. When you're doing a project like this and you're also busy on the side, for me it's my engineering course load, you really need to keep yourself in check. Something in your personal life could really affect your productivity. For me, I got back into video games for a week, even though I had stopped playing entirely for 2 years. It really spiraled out of control and I was just waking up in the morning. All I could think about was like fighting in my favorite game instead of doing the work I needed to do. And I also felt really terrible those days. Like I would wake up, I wouldn't get any work done, and I would get anxious because I wasn't getting my work done. This would cause me to like eat some terrible food choices, and just the spiral keeps going. I really need to keep myself in check, and a slip up like that could really cost my productivity and a lot of various other factors in my life. Another setback I had was such a silly mistake. I misspelled the word panorama. As you can probably see from my company's logo, it's spelled panorama with an A instead of an O. So it's such a big blunder because when I went to actually go get the domain, I misspelled the word there and I had to completely rebrand the company just to match the domain. The domain itself costed like $60 just for 1 year, and I wasn't trying to pay that again just to have the name corrected. Maybe once I get incorporated, if this goes anywhere, I'll consider renaming myself back to Panorama FP with the correct spelling. As I mentioned before, we're in the process of reaching out to customers. Right now, the cold emailing hasn't been going so well. Maybe I lack the experience they require, or they don't have enough testimonials. Right now, I'm not too sure what causing me from receiving emails back or having people interested in my product. Maybe 360-degree video, super new to the market, and they don't know how to proceed with it. One thing I've actually learned is that these realtors and agents are super busy. They always have to look for new deals, new houses, and contact people just like how I'm contacting them. That's why they want something easy, like a photographer comes in, he does all the shots, takes all the videos, uploads it to a website for them, and all they do is share the link or upload those photos onto Airbnb or the website they're using to list the product. That's why I think in the project's future, I might expand our services just to accommodate this. Maybe they have their own Matterport site as well as the website and a bunch of photography shots I could just give them that they can upload into their website. Outside of that, I've also learned that some people are just super successful using Matterport alone and other 360-degree services that provide a similar doll map. I really like ZON100 because it taught me this crucial part of myself. I used to start many projects way back. I used to have my own clothing brand. I used to make beats when I was 13. And the one thing that separated this project from like my clothing brand, for example, was that I had to be accountable. For my clothing brand, I just started it and I wanted to get some. I wanted people to buy a lot of my merchandise, and I would constantly upload designs, but no one kept me accountable, and I didn't do the things I really needed to do. For example, I didn't advertise the way I should have advertised. I think what I learned is that flexibility, like a flexible schedule, being able to schedule anything around your own time is super useful. You need the accountability factor, or else you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to keep doing the things you don't need to do. And that's what I think separates this project, which I did in ZON100 with the accountability, versus my previous project of making the clothing brand. Toronto's real estate is no joke. This Toronto's real estate is no joke. The housing market is massive, and we've been in a bubble for so long. It's infamous for having crazy prices. But this also means that the industry is very much booming, and there's a lot to learn. What I set out to do for the past couple of weeks was just learn more about the industry and who I need to talk to advance my project. So for example, there's a big difference between agents and realtors. So realtors have their realtor's license, and they often oversee a bunch of agents. Now, agents are who you might be talking to sell your house or buy your house. These guys also contract home experience or photographers. They do most of the heavy lifting when it comes to media and media of the house. So maybe if you have a local tour, these guys would do that. I hope this information will be helpful towards my cold emailing and prospective customer outreach. If I were to give myself advice, if I was taking ZON100 back, if I could rewind time 4 months ago, I would tell myself to empty my schedule. Doing a project like this and having like regular semester school, especially with engineering, is pretty tall task. I wasn't able to dedicate as much time to my project as I wanted to. If I wasn't studying or looking for jobs or at school or like hanging out with my friends, I was working on my project if I could. Some other advice I would give myself would be to ask other people who are in a similar industry or have a similar project. Yeah, like I said, ZON100 really provided me the accountability that I needed, and it let me stay on track. That's the biggest takeaway from ZON100. You need the accountability. Otherwise, you're not going to do anything. I remember sometimes it would be like a Monday and I just didn't want to work on my project when I had the time to, but I'm thinking, oh, in a couple of days, I'm going to be talking to other people about my project. Maybe I should work on it. I previously thought ZON100 would be a similar kind of thing to DMZ Basecamp. I took it over the summer. It was pretty helpful. It gave me a lot of workshops and technical know-how, but they provided almost no accountability. Like we would get into our teams and we would just like we would just talk to them at the end with our own pitches, and our team kind of slacked off during this time. It was also summer, so we were just hanging out with our friends and like with each other instead of actually doing the work. This is where Zone 100 I think was very different. It didn't provide as much technical know-how as I would have liked to, but the accountability is so. One of the main reasons I would take this course again would be to get the accountability factor if I were to start another project. I think people on the fence with Zone 100 and are struggling to put the work in or actually advancing in the project, they should definitely take Zone 100 because it gives you that accountability factor. Thank you so much for listening.